Hey, what's up, podcast? Welcome back to the Real Value Exchange. And so, this will be a quick episode because I want to just share a thought that started with a conversation I had on a previous episode with Matthew Ray Scott. Highly recommend that you check it out if you haven't spent time digging into it. It's a little bit longer, but man, Matthew's just packed full of information, especially around the marketing and branding and healthcare space. And so, we got into a conversation. I wasn't sure if it was offline, where he was like, man, more people need to be doing what you're up to. And let me just tell you what I'm up to, right? So I work for a small German-based medical device company. And that's what I do full time. I manage the West Coast. I manage about roughly about, let's call it 15 states. And there's, independent reps in there that we all work together. So I say manager, but we're really all trying to collaborate so we can try to meet this goal. I'm helping them make money. I'm supporting them. And by me supporting them, I'm just trying to make sure that they can get more deal flow in quicker. Now, what I do for the company, ELvation Medical, is also not just manage the actual territory. So I'm a West Coast sales manager, to start my title out there, but I really focus on also doing this digital marketing and creating content. Now, so I launched a podcast through ELvation Medical called the Recovery Lab. Me and my team support that. So one person helps book people up. Other person edits up the actual content, and then I host it. So it's a small group. We're not talking about a big organization here. But either way, what I'm saying is that there needs to be this hybrid role where you're, like this KOL support, where you're going out, getting key opinion leaders and really trying to, help them make sure that they're constantly being at the forefront, talking about your actual product, talking about your service, whatever you're up to. But also someone that's in this business development slash sales role who's looking for opportunities. Let me say it like that. Not forcing them, not pushing them on people, but just keeping a keen eye open to if something arises, if somebody's looking for referrals, people know that they should point to them to go ahead and try to get the opportunity to. So something like that needs to be a hybrid role. And this other person that's just a raw networker. No strings attached, nothing coming out that there's no other shoe to drop. There's nothing that's gonna, be picked up on the back end. So for instance, like one of the biggest things that you can't do whenever you do a podcast is at the end of it, I don't care if you're talking to your ideal dream client. I personally would not recommend asking for a meeting or quote unquote a deal or some type of pitch after the podcast. The podcast is the podcast, man. We're here to create content for the audience and we're out. Like, if I can help you, I'm asking that question. There's this one question that I got from one of my other guests on the Sales Culture podcast where he was like, man, you got to ask that Dan Sullivan question. And I'm going to butcher it, but it goes something like this. Literally, after the podcast, you ask them, hey, in the next 3 years, what's one thing that you really want to see happen in your life? And you really kind of get the person to talk about what their just ambitions are, just what they're really up to, beyond just the work or the title that they have, beyond where the company's up to, what is important to that person individually. And this is something that I've been trying to push out after my podcast because it allows me to serve them. They took time to come on my show. Yes, I let them talk about whatever's important to them, which was hopefully valuable, but really trying to tweak out those things that matter the most. And a lot of times I can't do jack for them. So I'm not sitting here playing like a genie or anything. But what it does allow me to do to at least see if I can, because you never know who I know that could possibly make it easier for them to accomplish whatever really matters to them. So anyway, let me kind of dig into it. So let me tell you what it has done for me over the past year by having this hybrid type of position where I'm in sales, but I'm also work with KOLs, but I'm also a connector. Let me tell you how this has helped out ELvation's marketing side of the business and just really done a couple things that I think are key. So for one, it allows me to get like this deep relationship with people. So it's a phenomenal relationship building tool by just creating content with someone. And this has led to referrals. Those referrals shorten our actual sales cycle. Referrals are still the best leads that we get in our business. I would imagine any business. If you have your customers out selling for you, that makes your life easier. Period, point blank. I don't think anybody's going to argue with that, but that's what it's done for me. So that's one. Two, I would definitely say, it allows me to put my clients on a pedestal. So I can go to them, they talk about their practice, talk about their business, whatever interests they have. and it allows me to elevate them. So I literally open a space up to where you're just highlighting them. And that's what I use it for, as a way to kind of allow them to get the word out, talk about what they have going on, and hopefully it's a win-win-win type of thing where not only am I getting the content, not only they getting the content, but on the third way, it allows them to help hopefully build up their business, and that helps up boost our business, right? I'm always looking for those opportunities. So that's one thing I've gotten as well from just having this type of podcasting setup. And you can do this with YouTube, you can do this with blog posts, I'm sure as well. So, I mean, I'm just podcast biased, but it can go either way. And three, it gives me a ton of just content, right? So, for instance, with this interview I just did with Matthew, right? I'm going to chop up this interview, and literally we have about 2 or 3 clips, minute clips. I'm going to throw them on LinkedIn. I'm going to throw them on Instagram, and you could tweak them, but I might not even do that. Put them on YouTube. Really slow growth of YouTube, so I'm still figuring that out. But if you're looking for a channel, go check out the Sales Culture channel. It's a quick plug for myself. And just have these short little clips about the interview. So it gives me just a ton of content that I could probably get a good 10 clips. I'm only doing 2, but there's just so much information in there that I could break that out in so many different places if you're looking for something that's engaging. I'm going to tag Matthew back in it, and he's already responded. And it just allows me to help. Well, he's going to help me actually push out some more of this content. So it's a win-win-win, right? Again, so he gets some content, I get some shares, and it just works for both of us. And fourth but not final, I think this is most important. It has reduced the customer acquisition cost by 50% compared to going to trade shows. Say it one more time. So we have literally cut the customer acquisition cost by me flying out, going to a trade show, paying for the booth space, taking time away from being in the field, taking time away from being with the customers outside. Yeah, people can argue and say that trade shows are great from that standpoint because everyone comes to one huddle and you meet them, but it's also very distracting. I have really, over time, there's only a couple trade shows I enjoy to go to, and we would, as a company, probably go to at least a good 15 to 20. I only like 2 of them really. And it's because of that reason. It's just so spread out. Too many people at once. I feel like you're a caged animal at a trade show a lot of times, just hoping that someone comes back and throw you some breadcrumbs. So, I've gotten really, they're just okay. But either way, I think that making content with your clients, because you're going to be able to have that referral system that will hopefully build organically without you forcing it. This is something that you can really look at and see how your content can help reduce your customer acquisition costs, opposed to running ads or opposed to just literally going to trade shows that don't even exist anymore. So it's almost like, what choice do you have? Even if trade shows were around, you can't even do them. Like, all of our trade shows have been canceled so far for at least up through half of the year. Let me say that. Can't speak for the whole year yet. But either way, I would love to see what you guys think about this new hybrid type of role. Please, tell a friend about it and give me some feedback. Maybe there's a title that's already exists I just not aware of, but to me, this is a no-brainer for the space that we're in today. Like, how in the world are we going to adapt to the changes that are happening so quick in the B2B landscape without somebody that is doing the content building, also the relationship building, and marrying those two together? I don't know how it's done. Maybe this is being done heavily and hard by tons of other people. I know this is. I know I'm not the first or the former. I'm seeing other people do it already. But is it a role that we have given a title to? Because if it is, I would love to see it pushed out there more and more. With that said, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the conversation. Check me out on LinkedIn, man. I'm really trying to push hard on that platform. I'll have the link in the show notes below. Until next time, you guys stay phenomenal.